it turned out that everything I wrote about Triforce Heroes that people screamed at me about ended up being true.
Yeah.
Just like how everything I wrote about Splatoon when I first played it and people screamed at me about ended up being true.
Yeah.
So, I hate to say I told you so.
Oh, I'm sure you don't.
But I told you so.
Alright, let's do this intro so I can continue eating my popcorn.
Stop eating your popcorn.
Alright, well, let's do this, then we'll talk, and then I can mute for a little bit, okay?
Oh my gosh. Hello and welcome to the spooky Just Another Castle podcast. I'm your host, the malevolent Matt, and here with me this week is the eerie Eli.
Howdy-ho!
It's Mr. Hanky, apparently. And next we have...
He's coming to haunt your dreams.
Yeah. And lastly we have the mysterious Mike.
Welcome! We sound like a 1940s Disney special!
How did he do that? I'm just joshing around, but yeah, we will be talking about some Halloween-related stuff this week. So while Mike eats his popcorn, I guess I'll talk about what I've... Oh, before we get to what we've been playing. So apparently some people have been passing around what looks like quote-unquote Nintendo candy, but it's actually ecstasy. So if you if you see like a Nintendo logo candies and Superman logo and Warner Brothers things,
then take it.
And Domino's, things that would never actually be like licensed.
Then
really?
take it. Nom nom. Yummy yummy candy.
Stop telling all the children to get high, Eli.
Actually, don't do it. Don't do it.
It looks like the fakest thing too, because they look like the Flintstones chewable tablets. Mm-hmm. So it's like these things don't even look related.
So,
I don't know. It's just weird.
Ecstasy is like candy now, right? Or no?
You're like, just go in the corner.
Do I give it to children? Do I give ecstasy to children? Is that alright?
Sure. No, but I guess just watch out for that. I don't know. It's not that hard to spot out. You're like, they would never make these licensed candies all look the same, like come together. So whatever. Still something to look out for, I guess. I don't even know where that's happening. I just saw it pop up on Go Nintendo.
Yeah, this is the second time something like this has happened.
Yeah.
I didn't say I heard this before, but...
Yeah. I've heard the Nintendo one. This one puts in a bunch of other stuff. I don't know why, but whatever. Anyway, I've played a couple of horror-ish, well, Halloween-themed games. So the first one I played was Fatal Frame Maiden of the Blackwater.
Oh, you bought it?
No, I didn't buy it.
Oh.
So what they did was kind of smart. Well, I guess it's not much different than a demo. They call it free to start because you get the prologue, chapter 1, and then like half of chapter 2, something like that. So I don't know, it's basically a demo, but you get like you can start from the beginning and then pay to continue.
It's a demo with save progressions.
Yeah, it keeps your save file, so you can do that. But Flea's gonna hate me, so sorry for that, Flea. But I just kind of wrote a big piece, so I'll kind of go through it. So the stories are creepy. The music is definitely creepy, and even one of the mechanics where you slowly reach down for an item, a ghost can like randomly grab your arm. That's kind of scary, I thought, or creepy at least. But I wasn't really scared in the game, and that's a problem for a horror game, clearly. And it's not like I was playing in bright lights either. I only had like one light on, and it was pretty dark. So I'm still a sissy, so I didn't completely do it anyway, but I'm pretty sure I could have. But actually, some of the story isn't really creepy, but it's kind of dumb. Like, you're training this one girl to use a camera, so this one girl takes this girl into a creepy place to practice out her camera skills against ghosts, and then she's like takes it back after. She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have brought you here." It's like, that was the whole point, to bring her here to train. Like, obviously you knew there was a threat coming, but whatever. But having her react scared to like literally everything is just annoying. She's supposed to be scared to represent the player being scared, but it gets ridiculous when I'm not scared of anything, and this girl's like pissing her pants, like making these weird faces, like something's gonna murder her. I'm like, it doesn't feel like a threat. This isn't. Don't worry so much. I mean, I'm pretty sure Luigi could give her a run for her money being these ghosts, because she's just like gives this weird, like sour face, like this creepy face, like something is gonna get her. But I'm like, it's not scary, so calm down. But as far as the gameplay goes, it's the easiest way to frame it, with no pun intended, is Resident Evil 5 meets Pokemon Snap, and it takes the worst parts of it. So the controls.
Wait. That's everything about Pokemon Snap.
No, Pokemon Snap, you take that back. Pokemon Snap was fun.
No, it's not. It never will be. I play it, and I keep going, man, this game gets worse every time I play it. I'm gonna throw an apple at you, man. Okay?
You're wrong. I'm gonna throw a pester ball at you. Anyway, so...
Where's the beat one already? Come on.
Yeah. So, if you play Resident Evil 5, the controls feel extremely similar. Like, if I didn't know who the developer was making it, I would have sworn it was Capcom, because that's how similar it is, and it's really clunky. And even other things like you have to look for certain objects in a room, and it has like this big glowing light on top of it. It's like, okay, that's clearly reminiscent of Resident Evil, that kind of thing. But I don't know, it's really weird. So you point a camera at a ghost, and you can take a picture mid-attack to do more damage. Or if there's orbs flying around, that also causes more damage. But it got like annoying in one of the boss fights at the end of the demo, because there's only one ghost you have to fight, and there weren't really any other orbs flying around, so it felt like you were doing 1 damage per screen, per capture taken. And I don't know if it just has a lot of health, or I don't know, I wasn't doing enough damage or something, but it went on for like 10 or 15 minutes and like really drew itself out. Attacking using the camera sounds cool, like I was interested in it, and then it's really boring. You just kind of stand there, and they're moving like at the speed of molasses, like trying to get you, and you can just walk backwards slowly and take a picture, and then walk backwards slowly and take a picture. And they had some kind of neat things, like after you take a picture, you can't just do rapid fire pictures. If you take a picture, then there's like a cooldown period before you can take another picture, so a ghost could get you in that meantime, but it's not that hard because you just walk backwards. What was one of the other things? The ghosts just aren't that frightening. Like, even when you start off, one of the cutscenes is like 5 ghosts or something, like attack this woman. It's like, okay, well, it makes the ghosts feel, I don't know, not as threatening when you have so many of them. And then when you go in the game, I wasn't attacked when I was out of camera mode, because I was always in camera mode, but like they attack you and your screen just goes red. I'm like, okay, that's not scary. But in Dead Space, if something attacks you, it's like eating your arm off and ripping your limbs off. So you know,
Dead
like
Space
you
was
can.
mad scary. Dead Space was mad scary.
Yeah,
right?
like you could tell that the enemies in Dead Space were a threat. This one is just like, and it just like swats you in the face, kind of thing. So it's just not that fun, and nothing scary about it. You just kind of walk around, and you're like, oh, there's a thing that's moving slow. I'll just take a quick picture. And I got so annoyed with how slow the character walks and everything moves. Like, I understand they want to make it slow on purpose, so they build up suspense, but it just gets annoying. It's like, I don't want to wait 5 minutes for you to open the door. You walk incredibly slow. I'm just gonna run through this and then like run past some of the ghosts. So I didn't really like it at all. And you have to download like 10 gigabytes, even though it only uses like 6. I guess that's the first 3 chapters or some crap like that. So it took like basically 2 hours to download and install. And it wasn't even worth it. I had to remove like Wonderful 101 just to make space for it.
Well, I mean, you didn't get rid of much, so, you know.
I haven't gone back to it that much. But
I told you that game wasn't that good, man.
At first I was liking Wonderful 101, and then I got into like a lull, and then after a break when I got back to it, I'm like, okay, I'm I don't know. I don't like the way you dodge in that game. It doesn't feel like you're really dodging, and I don't know. It doesn't feel like you can pull off moves effectively. But anyway, about Fatal Frame.
I just don't like Platinum games. I just don't think they make good games, man. That's it. I come to that conclusion after playing Wonderful 101 and Bayonetta. I just think Platinum Games is overrated.
Yeah, but to end up on Fatal Frame, I don't know. I'm not surprised it's a niche title because it's not that fun. But at least kudos to Nintendo for putting out a demo, because that's the only way they're going to get new people to join, is if they can play it without any sort of risk on their wallet. But did you guys have any questions about Fatal Frame?
Nah, I'm good.
It's $50, and
Yeah.
the problem I usually have with... First of all, I'm not a huge fan of horror games, so the problem I usually have with them is, like, the story there's usually not much extra stuff to do, because, like, once you see the story or play through it, it's just fine. There's, like, no reason to come back to it, and so that's why I really don't feel like a $50 or $60 price tag is worth it. Do you feel like a $50 price tag would be worth it for people that, say, enjoy the horror genre and like it?
From what I played, definitely no. Okay. It doesn't feel like, I don't know how long the game lasts, or if I don't know, the gameplay gets better, but if it doesn't really change much from here, like, no. I think the demo probably does the best job summing up if you're gonna like it or not. There just isn't a lot to it. I did play another game, but I talked for a while, so why don't we go over to Eli? Have you gotten to play anything?
Game, at least don't, you know, what was the game? Don't leave us hanging. At least tell us the game before.
I played Yokai Watch.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You gotta talk about that.
Well, I don't want to talk for forever straight now, so we'll come back. We'll come back to me after. So yeah, go to Eli. Yeah. So have you gotten to play anything?
So you'll be able to hear my Yokai Watch impressions next week, because I'm actually going to be reviewing it, and I'm.
Oh, cool.
But right now, let's see. This last week, I played a decent amount of The Witcher, because that's kind of like the game I can just turn on, do a mission or two, and just go leave. Because, like, honestly, I've had three games I could potentially play this last week on the 3DS that have come in. I bought Etrian Mystery Dungeon because it was only $20, and then I had Triforce Heroes come in, which I really don't know if I'll get around to playing anytime soon, like, at all, because it's not a game I'm feeling right now, to be quite honest. I don't have two other people to play with. I really don't want to struggle with online stuff. I heard the single player by itself isn't that great, so I don't know if I want to put up with that crap right now. So I really try to put a decent effort into Chibi Robo, which involved me playing through a stage, or 3 stages, rolling the dice, hitting a stage I already played, which pissed the hell out of me, but I'm like, alright, I'll just try this out, maybe this will get better. Played through, of course, Chibi Robo, in my opinion, I think it's okay for what it is the first time you run through, but because Chibi Robo moves so slow and it takes so long to power up attacks and everything, it was not fun to play second time through, and it didn't really help matters that right when I was about to reach the goal of the stage I already played through once, the game crashed. So after the game crashed, I just never came back to it, because Nintendo, why you do this to me? I mean, the game, I'm not happy with it. I'm not really happy with Nintendo at all right now, to be completely honest. I think their fall is terrible. And I don't know if we're going to be talking about that later this episode, but I think their fall is completely terrible. And the games that they do have that I'm interested in, like Yokai Watch and Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon, they are first-party games, as in they're published by Nintendo, but they're not first-party developed games. They're like second-party developed. Because Level 5 develops whatchamacallit, and Chunsoft develops Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. So, really, Nintendo dropped the ball, and I'm kind of pissed right now at them.
Yeah, even Yoshi's Woolly World is technically at least co-developed by Goodfeel Games. So I wonder how much of that is Goodfeel and how much of that is Nintendo. If they're developing it, and then just Tezuka is just like overseeing and implementing stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, Yoshi was spectacular. I gave it a good rating, but I played through 15 hours in the span of 3 days to review it, so you'll have to forgive me for not wanting to come back to that game again and again and again. But I mean, it's a good game. That's probably their only fall game, really, and maybe Xenoblade, but that's a December game, that I really think is like a standard Nintendo lineup. Other than that, I mean, you got 2 Animal Crossing games, neither of which is actually an Animal Crossing game, both of which are probably going to be rated pretty badly. I mean, I reviewed Happy Home Designer, didn't think it was very good. Then we've got Yokai Watch, as I said, second party, as well as Mystery Dungeon, which is second party. You got Chibi Robo, which is meh. You got Fatal Frame, which is meh. You got... What else do we have?
We had Yoshi's Woolly World. We had Super Mario Maker that came out.
Super Mario Maker was September.
Yeah.
So pretty much
Xenoblade.
October through December, we've got like 2 big games.
Oh wait, you guys got Mario 10 Ultra Smash coming out for 10.
Okay, so that's a budget game.
Yep.
Devil's Third, man.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I mean, honestly, and I don't know why Nintendo fans are giving Nintendo a free pass right now. Like, there have been better falls that have gotten write-ups about how bad they were. Like, I don't know why Nintendo fans are just so, like, okay with this fall when it's so terrible.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't know why people get upset about Nintendo not publishing Devil's Third, because that game doesn't look good. Like, most comments I've seen have said, like, yeah, this doesn't look all that fun before any previews came out. So why they, like, whipped up into a frenzy, like, Nintendo publish it or whatever, like, do you really care about this? It doesn't look interesting like those other 3 RPGs that they took forever to port over. It just looks like mediocre.
Paper Jam comes out soon, right?
Well,
In Europe it does.
I wish that Nintendo...
Why do they keep doing that?
I don't know.
What happened to the world releases, man? You know?
I wish that Nintendo would release its sales data, because like when the game came out, Devil's Third came out in Japan, it like didn't even chart or something. It was like terrible sales.
Ouch.
So, excuse me, I wish people could see, oh, you guys want blank game so badly? Well, we put it out. Go buy it. Oh, it only sold 18,000 units? Maybe that wasn't a good investment for us, and you can understand why we don't want to put it out and spend all that money on localizing.
Yeah. It also depends if they don't have any sort of, like, ads somewhere. Like, I know they don't have to make a big, giant marketing push for every game, obviously. But, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they didn't put that many ads, like internet ads or anything out. Or maybe they just didn't put many videos.
They've had successes and they've had failures. I think, when the Kirby game came out this year, what was it called? Kirby's Rainbow Curse?
Yeah.
I feel like they did a good job advertising it. I actually saw advertisements all over, Disney Channel, Cartoon Network, when my little sister would be watching. Mm-hmm. And there were definitely internet ads on IGN I saw as well. And that game tanked and was only $40.
Yeah.
Man, right now, Nintendo's had its highs and lows over the last few years, and I think I used to be critical, and then I'm like, wow, they're actually doing okay. I think, I give them credit where it's due, but this fall, like, I don't understand how they can even try to be competitive when both the PS4 and Xbox One are $349, Wii U's still at $300, and they don't have a good lineup other than Mario Maker and Yoshi's Woolly World. So, man, I haven't been this salty, I think, about their lineup since the Great Drought of 2013.
That's awesome.
Well, I live in forgive. That's what I do for Nintendo. No, I honestly I don't care just because I haven't had time really. So yeah. I'm like, when I get back, I get to run through my stuff. Maybe that's why they realize everyone's gonna run through their stuff. So I'm like, yo, guys, just chill.
Hey, Mike, do you live and learn and hang on to the edge of tomorrow?
Oh yeah, I do. Live and learn. Oh man. You know what's funny? That's like my least favorite Sonic Adventure song.
Yeah,
all right,
I don't remember all of the lyrics.
Anything else you're mad about, Eli? Because you seem to love Nintendo by hating Nintendo.
After the summer, which, let me remind you, from the months of June until August, Nintendo did not release a single game.
When did
I thought the fall
come
would
out?
actually make up a little bit for it, because it looked like the fall was a little stacked, and then they delayed a lot of stuff. And now they're stuck with a fall that's crap, a summer that was non-existent, and
to be fair,
spring that outside of Splatoon and Kirby was defunct as well. So literally this year is probably the worst lineup they've had in years and years and years.
To be fair, no one really releases games in the summer, so it's not like that's a new thing.
But they've always had at least like one thing, like an August game. Like I think whatchamacallit, Pikmin 3 was an August game.
No, that was like March.
Yeah, man, come on.
Was it?
Yeah, something like that.
Me and Matt complain about no summer games every summer. That's our thing.
Wait. I'm looking up Pikmin 3.
It's either like March or May.
Pikmin 3 released July 13th. Oh, okay. That was in Japan.
Oh.
In the U.S., it released August 4th. Called it.
Okay.
So Pikmin 3 was a summer game. There was Game & Wario was a summer game. Like, they at least had something, and now they don't, and it's really infuriating. And I mean, next year really doesn't look better in terms of like, what do they got for the Wii U? They got Shin Megami Tensei X Fire Emblem. They got Star Fox
and Zelda.
That's gonna be a good game.
But Zelda
I want that.
But I'm talking about before the NX launches.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like for those first 9 months of the year, 10 months of the year.
Yeah, we might have a drought, and either they'll tell us in January that they have a couple of random things coming out and they don't really say what date because it's like months and months later, or I guess they might divulge a couple of things, smaller games like Mario Tennis kind of things.
Well, there are smaller games, and that's actually one of the biggest problems I have with Nintendo right now is the fact that they're trying to cover up their drought with crap games, or games that don't take long to develop, or only a year development cycle. You know, Mario Tennis, Happy Home Designer, Amiibo Festival, for heaven's sake, took 10 months to develop. That's what they said. They're like, oh, Amiibo are doing pretty well, people like them, we developed it. I mean, that's just some of the examples of the games they just crapped out because they realized that they had literally nothing.
Yeah.
And that's what infuriates me even more. I wish they would just be like, yeah, I'm sorry, we're sorry, we delayed Star Fox because we need to make it better, we don't really have anything for this fall. Instead, they just filled it with crappy games that aren't worth it to anyone. They're gonna bomb anyway. Happy Home Designer sold 5 times less than New Leaf sold in its first month. And that's probably going to be the most successful game out of all of them. Really, can anyone say that Amiibo Festival is even going to crack any sort of sales milestone? And don't even get me started about Mario Tennis. On the Wii U, I mean, that game's going to sell terribly.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that game.
Sorry for my rants, but I feel like I've been pretty quiet these last few weeks, and today, and I think I've been pretty positive about Nintendo, and like, within the last 2 days, all these thoughts just coalesced, and I realized that Nintendo this year was just horrid.
Yeah, I think that people who are thinking, oh, NX isn't going to launch in 2016, definitely is. They don't have anything. So, do you think from January to December, they're gonna have no NX launch, and then we have to wait like another year, so a total of like 2 years with almost no games? Like, no way. We're already seeing the Wii U dry up, and it's clearly evident when you see all these like recycled games like Triforce Heroes and the Paper Mario, or Mario and Luigi games, and Mario Tennis, and the 2 Animal Crossing games. Like, they're clearly reaching for games where they can reuse assets or do something in a minimal way just to put stuff out there rather than make like whole new games. Because if the Wii was going for another 2 years, we would see like, I guess, complete games, for lack of better words. But we're only seeing like half-assed kind of things.
Yeah, and it's scary because looking at next year, as I said, we got
3 games.
We've got, on the Wii U, we've got 3 games that have been announced. One of them is an NX game. And on the 3DS, we got Fire Emblem and Paper Mario.
I forgot about Fire Emblem.
So, I mean, sure, they can always announce more, but first of all, Nintendo Directs, I think the absence of a Nintendo Directs have taken quite the toll on Nintendo. And they really need to bring them back. And they've got to have something, right? Like, if the whole first 6 months of next year is first, I mean, Shin Megami Tensei X Fire Emblem is probably going to be awesome. As will. I don't know if Star Fox is going to be awesome. However, the delay is making me a little more hopeful. You only got 2 pretty big games, and then on the 3DS you got 2 more. But if that's all they have before E3, I don't know if that's good. I mean, in February you've got the Christmas of semester 1 or the first. Everything's been delayed to February. You just look at the release schedule. Probably like 5 AAA games releasing February. And Nintendo's really not being competitive at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't, like you said, they could always announce something, but I don't really see them announcing all that much. And I don't think we're going to get a Nintendo Direct this year at all, because it's past the time where they've already released most of their AAA games this year. Like, there's only Xenoblade. Like, they're not going to really have, hey, here's a Nintendo Direct of cool new stuff, but we only have one big game. So I think we won't get one until like January, and then they'll just lay out what's going to happen either in the first 6 months or stuff we'll see throughout the year.
I think January is a really good month for the Direct. They started that a few years ago when they announced Shin Megami Tensei and Yarn Yoshi in the same Direct in January, and Zelda for that matter. So I wouldn't say I don't think that's a bad idea. But I think that they could do a Direct on Xenoblade, like a mini 15-minute Direct, because they did that in Japan too. I feel like they could do like a mini 15-minute Direct on Xenoblade, just to let fans know that it's back. Like, it's here. Get excited for next year. We've got more Nintendo Directs to come, and here's a taste of Xenoblade. You know.
I mean, they did also have that one time they had a Direct in the earlier end of December where they showed off, I think, Devil's Third and Hyrule Warriors and some other stuff that was new. So I mean, they could potentially show something in December about next year, but yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't get my hopes up. They'll probably just start off the new year fresh and go from there. But I think we talked enough about that. Why don't we go on to what Mike's been playing?
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, here I am. All right, now, alright, so Smash. I only had an all right week. I mean, I won doubles and came in second in singles, so whatever. And not that much money, but who cares about that? Now, I did play what Matt was talking about earlier. I played Keep Talking and Nobody Will Explode. Yes. I think it's $15 on Steam. I got some press codes, so I played it. I actually have, I think I might have an extra. I'm not 100% positive. But, let's see. Oh yeah, so the game is really unique and awesome. So what it reminded me of, like the way it was made, was kind of reminded me of Surgeon Simulator and I Am Bread and all that other fun stuff. But it goes in the sense that it's a 2-player game. Well, it's basically 1 player, and then, you can have whoever else you want. Like, you can play 5 and 5. It doesn't really matter, but you can't cheat, kind of thing. So you have to have one person who's the bomb expert and has to read a 23-page manual.
Holy and the other one, I thought it was like 3 to 5 pages.
Wait, no, 23 pages?
Yeah, it's a 23-page manual. And
okay, man, what is it showing in there? Is it like not only how to use a bomb, but how to put it together and like?
No, it shows you how to defuse all the modules. It has appendixes, to see how it works. So, like,
pop quizzes throughout the book.
It's like, this is the game. Like, I want to show you part 2. That's like come out tomorrow. I'll just show you guys the video because it's great. All right, I had to do a 6-module bomb, and like, here's some examples. So, I can't stop laughing because this game's hilariously fun. All right, so the simplest module I can give you is like, all right, there's 6 horizontal wires, right, and say it's like red, black, yellow, blue, red, white. All right, and then it'll be like, the guy you're playing with, the bomb expert, because I was the bomb diffuser. Basically, I was the robot sent out to die if we messed up. Freaking, he's like, alright, well, I need to know. He's like, how many yellows are there? Oh, yeah, there's 1 yellow? Okay, are there any white wires? Oh, if there's 1 white wire, you gotta cut the second wire, as long as it's not black. And then it goes through all this whole shit like that, And then, like, one of them would be, Not the simple one is kind of easy to explain. Oh, another one would be like there'd be a big red button. I'll say detonate, and then he'll be like, okay, what color is the button? I'll be like, oh, it's red. Like, okay, I need you to tell me what's the serial number on the bomb. How many batteries are on this bomb? You know what I mean? And oh, hold the button for a second. Do this, they do that, and then then you get past that module. Like you can't just be like, oh yeah, I'll do that. Like the whole book will tell you what to do, and he has no idea what you can see. All right, so. He's just looking at the module. He's looking at what I'm telling him. He has to picture what you know what I mean? You gotta like be on point with your partner.
Yeah, your half Walt Disney logo.
Yeah. So one of them, there's symbols, and there'll be like there's like four of them, right? And there'll be a star, a copyright symbol, a 3 without the loop, and like a scribbly W. And I'll be like, oh, dude, it looks like a Walt Disney symbol, and then he didn't finish. So take the Walt Disney script, and he goes, oh yeah, okay, there it is, and then we'll pop it out, and he has to see what order that works in the book. So it's a great game. It's literally a great game. Like. Like if I could pull this out at parties and play it, I would. Okay, that's how good of a game it is.
Yeah, definitely
What
check
else?
the videos on it.
No, there's two more at least.
Awesome.
Yeah, they're scheduled out. I think those other ones are a little bit longer because we get better, and we're like, oh, let's
Yeah.
squeeze another bomb, and we'll keep doing that.
But with the bum, oh shoot, yeah, no, I didn't realize it was 23 pages. I figured it was like, because I remember seeing, I think Pro Jared and other people doing it like live, and they had like actual papers in front of them, and I thought they only had like
printed
five. Yeah, I thought they only had like 5 pieces of paper. So when I saw Phil going like nuts in the video, he's like, "I can't handle it, man. I can't handle it." I'm like, "Calm down. It's not. I'm sure it's not that bad." Like going through the pages, and now you're like, "No, there's 23 pages." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense why he was going ballistic."
Yeah, he actually printed it out after, and it's just like, dude, it's too hard to go on the iPad. It's like, yeah, I can
Yeah.
scroll fast. And he's like, yo, do you think I should read it? I was like, no, let's leave it like we don't know, so we can just keep scrimmaging through it. So it's great, man. Like if you play with Uno Clay, you gotta tell me how it is, or any of you guys play. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I also played Legend of Zelda Maker. All right.
Yeah.
It was featured on Destructoid. It was some guy made a game. Like you could download off MediaFire. I'm pretty sure you could just find a YouTube video. The guy who made the game commented on the video. Because every time we pressed the M button, it would crash. Okay, so he kind of laughed about that in the game, but it's actually really well made. It's like a little bit of better Link to Past graphics. You can put all the enemies in. You can actually control Link, fight. You can use Zelda if you want to. You can use a water terrain. You can do whatever you want, really. Like, the only thing is it's kind of making just an overworld map. That's all you would do with Link. So it was nice. I mean, for what it was, like, I just wanted to play it just to see how it was. But the guy, I mean, for an 0.01 and the guy just bum rushing the game, I think he did a great job. It's cool. I mean, it's no Mario Maker, obviously, but it's cool. It's cool. And then, I think did I play anything else? No, I still haven't got the Persona 4 Dancing All Night. I'm on my this week is Tuesday is my last day of academy, my last official day of classes. I have my final.
Nice.
Yeah, man. And after that, I graduate next Friday. But like Tuesday's my last day, so I'm hoping I can finish Super Time Force Ultra Platinum so I can start Persona 4 Dancing All Night. Then I want to get back into games like. Like on my list is Yoshi's Woolly World, Tales of Cestiria, Tales of Xillia 2. It's a free RPG, so it's gonna take me forever. But yeah, that's mainly on. Oh yeah, and now tell me about Yokai Watch. 'Cause I actually wanted. I figured that the demo would be the same as the one I played at Comic-Con, but I want to hear what you guys thought about it. 'Cause I said it last week.
Yeah, it's probably the same. Eli, have you played it or no?
No, I haven't. I haven't gotten yet. It's still in the mail.
Okay, so I'll just go on my, not rant, but I wrote like another basically article about it. Because I don't know, I had a lot to write about it and I just decided to put it into words. So I think kids will like it simply because it's colorful and it has like an array of unique monsters like Pokemon and it's simple to play, but I didn't really like it. So first I was kind of surprised with the cutscenes. Usually in 3DS games, cutscenes are flat, whether they're in 3D mode or not. But when you actually put this in 3D mode, you can tell like the different layers, like whether a character is in the foreground, middle ground, or background. So I thought that was really cool because no one really puts the effort into doing that. I don't know if they've done that for the Layton games because I haven't played those. Have you noticed that before, Eli? Or have you not played them in 3D?
It does look a little weird,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Yeah, they didn't do anything for Phoenix versus Layton, in my opinion, on that. I mean, like, maybe the text would sometimes be in a different layer, but I didn't really see too much on that. So, but maybe that's because it was co-developed, or not too sure.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure if it was a thing for level 5 to do, or maybe they just figured to do it for this. But I thought that was a cool addition, besides from the gameplay. But before finding yokai, you have to find them. So you have like this little gauge at the top right, and it'll move from green to red, and the closer you get to yokai, it goes to red. And then you examine like the closest object, and you use a magnifying glass to find them on the screen. And once you find them, they might run around, so you might have to follow them. But after you find them, you can go into battle. But I'm not really a fan of the battling. So the battle system is a real-time strategy game, meaning your enemies can attack you while you're selecting an attack. And I never really like this style because I'm pretty indecisive, so I like to take my time. Yeah, I like to take my time when I'm planning strategies, even if it's like inconsequential. Like, should I jump or should I jump and do another jump? So
in Final Fantasy 9, I would make it into like it would. They called it action back then, so it'd be like live instead of wait form. But the thing is, you got to think about it, like that's how like real Pokemon battles are, like in a TV show. You know, they're like, yo, quick attack off the light post and hit the water alarm. It's like you can't do that. But you know, I always figured, I always kind of thought like it would be. It's a little bit more realistic when you have to do it live. Kind of thing.
But in that sense, if they made it more interesting, like those live Pokemon battles, it might work more. But but I don't know. I just like turn-based. But regardless, I don't know. I find it worse that they did real time, just because the thing is you have two different screens to worry about. In Pokemon, you just look at the top and you see the menus or whatever. It doesn't matter because it's turn-based and you can take as much time, so it doesn't matter where you're looking. But here, because it's real time, it's distracting because the top screen you have your characters battling and your enemies attacking you and whatnot. But at the bottom screen is where you rotate the wheel to choose different yokai and what kind of thing you'll do, whether attack or I forget, not replenish, but purify and do other options and crap. But while you're looking through that, like things happen at the top that you can't notice, including status effects. So I don't know, maybe someone poisons me or something, and I won't notice because like it'll say you've been poisoned, but by the time I'm looking at the top of the screen, like that notice is gone and I couldn't read it. And even your own yokai have like beneficial status effects that you can't really tell. So that's kind of annoying. It disappears like when you don't even get to see it or read it. But on the bottom screen, yeah, you have the yokai. You have your wheel with 6 different yokai. They each have 1 attack, but you always have 3 yokai playing on the same field, including the enemies. They always have 3 people. So once you use an attack, there's a cooldown period of a couple of seconds or whatever, probably like 10 seconds, where you can't use that yokai. So you either rotate or use one of the 3 you already have on the field, that kind of thing. But when you select an attack, you're given like one of 3 mini games. So you either touch floating balls, you spin a wheel like in Elite Beat Agents, or you trace a symbol, and it just feels pointless and like padding out the game somehow. Like you pressed an attack and you're not really going to notice much or notice how much damage they do or whatever. So why don't you fiddle with this mini game while it does something? Like it just seems like something added in to distract kids so that they're not waiting for one other second. But besides those reasons, I don't know, I didn't really enjoy it because there's not really a strategic element to it. Like, I don't know, maybe if you gain more moves for your yokai, it might get better down the line. But when you have 1 attack for each yokai, it just seems boring. Like, okay, well, what are my options for this one character? I don't know, just push the attack button because that's your only option, unless they're poisoned or something and you purify them. Like, it's so limited. That's why I don't really like it, because there's not really any strategy. It's just like, okay, here's a guy on the field, just press attack. Okay, I can't use him, switch to the next guy, press attack, and on. And it kind of reminded me of Final Fantasy 13's auto battle button. You're just like, it's your turn, just mash the attack button. Like, that's all.
Hey, that game, I would just put a rock on the X button, and I'm pushing forward. I'm like, I'm going the right way, and then no one's stopping me. The thing is, what made that auto battle even worse was it even picked the magic attacks and cured your other members. Like,
Oh my
legitimately, it was like, hey, dude, do you want to do nothing? Do you want to be irrelevant?
It chose in that game, it chose the best attacks unless,
Yeah, it always
the
chose
only
yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, it would choose it unless it was a new monster and didn't know, but once it did, it was like, oh, this
Yeah.
guy's weak to thunder. Everybody fights thunder. And I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, you took out everything that made Final Fantasy good.
Exactly. But
I was gonna say was the one thing though, like I can see. Then why is it so popular in Japan? Like, I kind of like that. Like, I'm constantly looking down and up at both screens, so like I'm kind of like, oh shit, I gotta be really into this. But that's the other thing I didn't like about it. I'm like, dude, I can't lie down on my bed and be like, hey, I'm gonna play Yokai Watch half asleep. Can't do that in this with this game. So I'm on the edge, but I mean, I would lean towards buying it. But at the same time, I got other games to play, so. But it isn't mega popular.
I'll have a second opinion next
okay.
next week.
Alright, so every 1 week we have a different opinion on Yokai Watch. I like it.
Cool. But yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't. It just feels like it's made for a child. It doesn't feel like it's a game made to be a good game. It's just like, here's bright and colorful things. It'll get children to buy it. Blah.
Maybe I didn't have enough time with it because when I was at E3 or whatever, I only played it for like 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yep. So I guess we'll go on to some things that were announced this week. I'll go through quickly. So Bonk's Adventure was rated for the Wii U eShop. Little Inferno devs have finally released their next game called Human Resource Machine. We talked about that before. It's
Matt, did you skip Amiibo news?
Oh yeah, there was. Well, I only have one thing there, so unless you had something else about Amiibo.
I don't know. What was your news? And then I'll add in what I have additional.
Mine was basically speculative. So Mario Tennis showed off Amiibo support. We'll talk about that game after. But they showed off playable characters, and most of them already have Amiibo, but some of them don't, like Boo and Waluigi and some of the some of the secret characters that you can see outlines for. So some people were wondering maybe there's going to be a Super Mario 2 line. Not Super Mario Bros. 2, but they have a Super Mario line where it's just the regular characters and regular poses. So they're thinking maybe they'll have another line where it has like Waluigi and Wario and Rosalina and Boo and that kind of crap.
That makes sense. There is some additional news. So
okay.
Villager restock is going to be a Toys R Us exclusive, as we know the Yarn Yoshi, the Mega Yarn Yoshi is going to be Toys R Us exclusive, as will, or actually I don't know if Yarn Yoshi is, but so will whatchamacallit, the 3-pack of the Mii Fighters. So they release quantities per store, and it looks like there's going to be a lot. The Mega Yarn Yoshi is only going to be about 18 per store, but the Villager restock and the 3-packs are each going to be at least 64 per store.
Cool.
So if you want a Villager, make sure on that release date, I forgot which one it is, to head over to Toys R Us, because there's going to be 64 per store. You'll probably get one.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's all the Amiibo news I got.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, back to announcements. Yokai Watch is getting a 2DS bundle for $100. Octodad's coming October 29th with a 20% discount. Mike, you might like this. Adventure Time Finn and Jake Investigations is going to be coming on 3D... Or, no, it already has released on 3DS and Wii U.
So that was a pretty underground release.
Yeah, like last time I remember hearing about it, I saw like beta screenshots, and it's like, oh, it's out. Oh, when did you advertise it?
Yeah, you know why? Maybe because the last two Adventure Time games have blown. And, I mean, the season ender of last season 2 years ago is so bad, or a year ago. Oh, God. Yeah, I don't know if Adventure Time's ever going to get another season, how bad that episode was. But, I mean, I'll check it out. Like, I think Adventure Time makes good games. So, I would like to see Regular Show give another shot at it, you know?
Yeah, I kind of want to play that game, because it looks cool the way they mix things up for Regular Show.
Yeah, it's a hard game though. Like they made it kind of like that old school kind of hard. So Yeah, that is something I should get as well. It's probably really cheap now as well. I mean,
Yeah.
most cartoon movies, TV, like any of those kind of games become dirt cheap. And then I'll go to Walmart and they'll be like, dude, 99 cents. Like, all right, yeah, sure.
Have you seen any of the gameplay for this new Adventure Time game? Are you
No,
interested in it?
I didn't even know. I was like waiting for some news for it to drop. Like I'm like, all right, yeah, Digimon dropping. I know that, but I have no idea. I had no idea that this was even ready.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a 3D adventure game, so it's somewhat. The last outings were 2D, but I don't know if it'll like really change as far as gameplay goes. Um, but it looks like Europe is getting the Resident Evil 4 Wii edition on October 29th. This news is kind of weird. Disney's epic Mickey Power of Illusion, which got kind of okay reviews, I think, and I heard it was really short even for a handheld game, is being removed from the Japanese 3DS eShop for no reason, and it's probably going to be removed from the other eShops, I assume. So if you want it, it's being removed October 27th, which is, it's probably going to be the day after this podcast goes up. But yeah, I guess there's a demo on there, so you can play that if you like it, and then buy it in case it gets removed. But I don't know if that's weird.
That's good though. At least it's a demo.
Yeah, maybe it's some sort of licensing thing, because I think that happened with Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or something on Steam. Like they had to get rid of a bunch of like Disney games or something because the licenses
Yeah, that was on
Deadpool as well.
PlayStation Network.
Okay, yeah. I remember Steam removed a bunch. One of them was Deadpool and some other stuff. So
Yeah, I heard Deadpool is actually oddly coming back, but at the same time, not too sure. Maybe because of the movie thing, but yeah, I don't know. Disney and with their Marvel licensing, all those Marvel vs. Capcom games digitally are gone. So
yeah, I played Deadpool. It was okay.
yeah, same
There's
here.
not much
It's a
else.
short game. It's like, I think it's worth like $20. It's funny. Nolan North did a good job.
Yeah,
And it's not the best made game, but you know what? Like if you like Deadpool, you want something like kind of different or funny. I'd say it was a good. I enjoyed spending only $20 and running through the game.
yeah. So one of the other things that happened was there's a rumor that Star Fox Zero is going to be releasing February 26th, at least in Europe, from a Danish retailer. So this sounds like it's probably legitimate because Miyamoto was saying, yeah, we could have pushed it out for Christmas, but we only need to delay it like by a few months to fix a few things. It's not like they're going to add a bunch of levels or anything either, so I think it's possible we're getting it then.
I'm interested if I were to look up what other games are coming out in February to see like what sort of competition it's going to have. I'm just like looking over IGN's list right now really quick, if it'll ever load. Because, Mirror's Edge is a February game, as is Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, as is Far Cry, as is Battleborn, as is Mighty Number 9. And then right in March, that first week, is The Division and Hitman.
Wow.
So within a 3-week period, there are literally like 7 AAA games coming out.
Yeah. To be fair, Nintendo's screwed regardless because not many people have Wii U's anyway, so I think whoever was going to get a Wii U game is going to get it. I don't know.
Yeah, although when the NPDs come out that month, not going to be too friendly towards Star Fox.
No, definitely not. So now into the new stuff. This isn't that surprising given the last couple of years, but it looks like Sony's officially stopped making first-party games for the Vita. So they said like they've basically moved any of the Vita developers, first-party Vita developers, over to PS4, which isn't surprising because the PS4 is obviously rocking it and the Vita isn't. Plus, Shuhei was saying before, I think, to someone on Twitter, like the mobile space is hard to compete in and they probably wouldn't do it again kind of thing. So that kind of sucks because Nintendo, it's been a long time since Nintendo has had competition. And while like the DS obviously crushed the PSP and the 3DS crushed the Vita, it kind of blows that. It's probably not going to have too much competition other than mobile games, which is kind of its own separate thing when you're like free or $1 versus $40 games kind of thing. So, losing competition isn't any good. But Mike, how do you feel about this? Because I know you have a Vita. I forget, Eli, if you do, but
I do.
Okay, I'm not sure if you use it much.
Not really.
Yeah, but I know Mike probably uses his the most. So does this, I guess, shock you at all, or are you surprised, or are you kind of bummed out, or did you kind of expect this, given that Sony's basically shunned the Vita at every conference for like the last 2 years? And now is gone, dropped
He's
out.
gone, but hopefully comes back. But I guess for me anyway, we've had like one first party game on Vita a year anyway.
Yeah.
I think last year there were two. So last year was Freedom Wars, and I think there was what was it, the Killzone game?
I think.
I don't remember if it's Killzone or
so.
Resistance. But there was one of those two.
Yeah.
And the year before that there was Tearaway. So there were like three
And
AAA
Uncharted
games.
at one point.
What?
I think Uncharted was a launch title.
Yeah, that was a launch title. I'm talking about the last 2 years. That was 2015, 2014. I mean, and that's pathetic. So I can't really for most Vita owners, I don't think there's going to be any sort of difference, because most of the games that come out on Vita, and there are a fair amount that come out, probably like maybe a dozen a year, maybe once per month. I'd say vast majority of them are third party, NIS America and stuff. So I think the Vita is going to stay alive in the same way it is alive right now. And that is not very, but I don't think that little life force that it has is going to get any worse.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. They just kind of, once they put it out there, they're like, oh, it's not selling, let's just drop it like immediately. At least that's the impression I got.
Good. The guy from Polygon, I forgot who wrote just a good article, and it was titled "Mobile Didn't Kill the Vita, Sony Killed the Vita." And I think it was a really good article, pretty much saying how, well, why can Nintendo have a successful handheld platform? Like sure, it may not sell as much as the DS, but it still is going to sell 80 million by the time it's done.
Yeah.
So why can't the Vita do that? And it was pretty much just highlighting the things that Sony did wrong that Nintendo just nailed.
Yeah, like memory cards and this and that.
Price, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I guess we'll move on. Maybe Michael come in and chime in on that after. I thought it was kind of cool. There's a whole Back to the Future day where like Pepsi had their Pepsi Perfect, which was specific in the movie that didn't release, and I think Nike or some other shoe company made like self-lacing shoes, and some other companies pitched in to do stuff specifically relating to that movie. And Nintendo re-released Wild Gunman on the Virtual Console that day, which is kind of cool because it was featured in the movie. So it's like, oh man, you are playing this game like 30 years in the future, kind of thing. Junichi Masuda, I forget if he's the creator of No.
He's not the creator.
I forget. He's one of the big Pokemon guys.
He's the director, and I think he composed some music too.
Okay, yeah. But he's going to appear on this Pokemon no Ichi, whatever, I don't know how to pronounce it, show in November. So sometimes he has big special announcement stuff when he makes appearances, because he doesn't do it too often unless he has something to say. But I don't know. I don't see him announcing like a big RPG or anything like that. Like, I don't think Pokemon Z is going to get announced there, or another remake or anything like that. I think at most they might announce like a new fighter for Pokken Tournament, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's what we'll see. I think Pokken Tournament is what we'll hear some more information about. I don't think we can't expect anything else. This is what man, I wish they'd just take a year off from Pokemon, but that's never going to happen. So I guess next year's probably going to be Pokemon Z. What date did you say that was?
November 15th.
Okay, so if that's after Mystery Dungeon launches, I could see some sort of like logo happening, just like a logo, and then them talking about it a little later. That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, who knows? Because maybe if they did have Pokemon Z or whatever coming in the next couple of months, they might show it. I don't know. Well,
it wouldn't be the next couple of months. It would probably be next November, because they're on a schedule right now. So you've got Mr.
Yeah, that
Dungeon
makes
this
sense.
year, Zed would be next year, and then the year after that would probably be New Gen.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, yeah, like you said, maybe they will show a logo or something. I don't know. Because of that one time they did Pokemon X and Y where they're like, it's January or February or March or whatever the heck date it was. They're like, here's everything you need to know about the next game. It's like, what the crap? You came out of here. You came with this out of nowhere. So, but yeah, I don't really see them announcing anything too big. Probably just a new fighter. So some data miners found dialogue in Triforce Heroes that was mentioning paid content. So it looks like it could be getting DLC later. I don't know if that really bugs anyone or if they're
Yeah,
happy
it
about
bugs me
that.
immensely, but I've
Like
had
I don't generally know how much content is in the game. I think it's like 40 levels or something. I'm not too sure.
I think it's 32.
Okay.
I'm just annoyed because it's there right at launch. That's number one. And number two, I wish they would put their money towards something better. But, you know, you can't win them all. I'm sure that game is thrilling to play with two other people. And I did have a lot of fun at E3. It was probably the best game I played at E3 if you count in co-op. Because it was just so fun to play with the other two people that I knew and was friends with. But without that, there's not very many people that are going to get the full enjoyment from DLC, and I wish they'd put their money towards something else.
Yeah. I think it's just they're rolling with their punches. They don't have any of their developers working on much else that isn't for NX, so they're just kind of like, well, let's just try to stretch out each game longer with DLC and hope that tides them over, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Nintendo is not
I mean,
company that it was a year ago, 5 years ago. It's changing so much.
yeah.
And sometimes for the better, and sometimes for the worse. And it's just one of those things. And the more interesting thing is, and it's probably on your news, is that the new mobile game should be announced and in theory released any day now.
I didn't really put in there because it's just like an announcement of an announcement. But yes, we're supposedly supposed to get something sometime soon.
So that's something I'm much more excited for than Hyrule. Triforce Heroes DLC.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind too much if there's a drought now, if it means that there's more stuff coming out at the NX's launch, because I can understand that. Okay, you're getting people to stop developing for this because it's a dead platform anyway, so that when you launch, you have a good launch. But if they don't have much leading up to the NX on Wii U and then they launch the NX and it has nothing, then I'm gonna be pretty angry because like, what did you waste your time on?
Yeah, they better have at launch at the NX. They got to have Mario and Zelda, and then if the NX launches in November or in October, then the next month in November or in January, whenever they launch, they better have another like like Pikmin 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Pikmin 4 was for NX. Like they said soon, but soon could mean anything. Soon
By
could mean
Nintendo
like
standards.
in the next year. Yeah, because they said Pikmin 3 was going to be a launch title, and then it came out like a year and a half later. But I don't know. They said soon, but soon could be like the end of next year maybe, or it would get delayed to then, and then it could just be like it launches on NX, or maybe they just maybe they didn't push the NX to its limits. They're just like, okay, let's make this Wii U level game and put it on the NX so we have something to launch for that. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that.
And the other thing is, and they need third parties. And I say this every time, and every time people are like, "No, Nintendo does its own thing." But if they have third parties, then they don't need to worry about putting out first party games every 2 months.
Yeah, definitely. And I think they'll launch with a Mario game just because Miyamoto was saying like he wanted to launch the next one with a game, and the fact of it'll be 2 to 3 years by the time next November comes around. And one of the times they had an interview, they're like, yeah, we don't know what kind of platform it's going to be on. So it could be like maybe it's not for 3DS or Wii U or both. It's for the NX. So I don't know. I think that could be very likely to happen. But let's move on to some other stuff. Data miners also found some more content in Splatoon. I don't want to really spoil it, but they have a new weapons and new gear. It's not a completely new weapon. It's like sometimes they have blasters and they have like a different variation of that blaster. It's a different variation of another weapon we recently got, so look out for that. Whatever, you can just look it up for yourself if you want to spoil it. It's not that big of a deal. Someone made a checkpoint in Mario Maker. They had this really cool thing. So basically, if you hit switches in a specific order, you'd be given access to a warp pipe, and then you then you could continue from that part of the level. And the creator like gives you the code once you get to that certain section. So I thought that was really cool, just showing how far people can push Mario Maker. But one of the other big things that happened this week was Nintendo showed off a Mario Tennis trailer. So this is kind of funny because Nintendo of America released a Mario Tennis trailer, and I'm like, oh great, it still looks barren and there's nothing in it, and it's coming out in like a month. Way to go, this game has nothing for it. And then like 2 or 3 days later, Nintendo of Europe is like, no, we're gonna fix this at least. Let's put out like an actually good made trailer that could at least get some people excited for it. And I'm like, oh, this person who made this trailer put some effort into it.
They obviously listened to us, and that's what happened.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they just whipped it right up. But I don't know, even from this trailer, like it's obviously better than the other trailers, but it still looks pretty barren. Not just from the trailer, but from what people have been saying from their impressions, like Game Explain did when they played it. So there's no, as far as we know, there's no actual single player like exhibition or campaign. There's no motion and touch screen controls if you cared about that. The chance shots are returning from the 3DS, but they're optional. Same with the Mega Mushroom game. You can basically choose classic tennis, which is just, I think it's like slice and topspin or whatever, your basic hits, and there's no other items or whatever thrown in if you don't want that. One thing I thought was cool is that because you can have 2 people on separate screens with the gamepad, one of the problems with Mario Tennis was when you have one TV screen, someone's at the bottom, which is the best way to play, and someone's at the top, which is the worst way to play, and to fix that, you would just rotate every time someone won a point. But because you have the gamepad, someone can be on the screen and someone can be on the TV, so both people are technically like viewing from the bottom side.
That's something they fixed since E3, because at E3, if you remember one of my complaints, it showed the same screen on both of them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe, I guess they just didn't have that implemented that, but I thought that was at least the one cool thing about it, because that was like a legitimate problem with the game, because no one likes playing on the top screen. It's just awkward. But still, there wasn't a lot else great about it. Like, I guess I'll get to that after. But it does have online for 1 or 2 people from the same console, like Mario Kart 8. And you can use your amiibo online and offline in basically every mode. And you can train and improve them. Like, they can get random stats and stuff like that. So that's kind of neat. But Rosalina and Toad also are playable characters, and some other unlockable ones. Some are kind of dumb. But the Mega Mushroom item looks stupid and isn't really a cool addition. And the courts are really like bland. So in other Mario Tennis games, you'd be given a court, like you'd have a regular court, of course, but you might have like a Bowser court that had like lava flowing around it, or like a beach course where you have like sand and you're over like an ocean or something like that. Like really well designed and unique looking courses. But this one is just like, this one has the grass floor texture, and this one has the blue floor texture, and this one has the red floor texture. It's like they clearly rushed it because they just needed something to put out, and there's no really new hook to the game or anything. It just looks really... During the first quarter, second quarter of this year, Nintendo was probably like, okay, we got nothing else for this fall. Let's just whip up something quick, like a sports game, and throw that out there. And E3 was basically like, yeah, we put this together like yesterday, and then we're getting it in a month. So, I don't know. It still looks really bland and uninspiring.
Mm-hmm.
from what I can see, and I've heard from people playing it.
Yeah, I haven't cared enough to even watch the trailer, so you'll have to forgive me.
You're not missing a whole lot. I mean, they make it look flashy, which is nice, but it's still like empty. I think you were gonna go like on another rant about Mario Tennis, weren't you?
Uh, no, I mean, I thought it was not a great game. I mean, not a bad game, just I don't see why it's necessary.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those other games that I think they made in a year. And I mean, it's not to say that Nintendo shouldn't get better at cranking out games quicker, because they should. They shouldn't be spending 5-6 years on a game, as much as some Nintendo fans will say, "Oh, but it's quality over quantity." It's like, well, no, you can get a game out in quicker than 5 or 6 years. I mean, The Last of Us was probably one of the best games I've played of all time, developed in 2 or 3 years compared to, The Last Guardian, developed for 10 years. I can't imagine it being nearly as good. And that's a Sony example. Nintendo example, they all just take forever to develop. But, I guess Majora's Mask took a year, and it was a great game. So, not to say that they can't develop your games in a year, but a lot of what they've been putting out recently looks like padding, feels like padding, and probably actually is just developed solely because they don't have anything else.
Yeah. Like we were saying before, it looks like they're putting out a lot of recycled and reused asset games just for the sake of crap. Let's not have a drought again.
Yeah, they probably spent a crap ton of money on working on that Super Mario 3D World engine to get it up and running on the Wii U and looking perfect, and now they're trying to crank out the most they can out of it. Mario Party, Mario Tennis, everything they can use.
So speaking of games that take forever, Anuma said Zelda is going to have a twist on the open world formula, whatever the heck that means. I just want to see that gosh dang game, please. It's been the last time we saw it was basically, I don't want to say tech demo because it's probably like it looked like a huge world and whatnot, but it's like, here's some trees, we're riding, we have so little in this game right now that we're gonna have to cut out 5 minutes of like riding the horse. It's like, if you have to cut out like sections of the game because it's too boring to do, like you barely have, like, I guess you don't have much invested in this game yet.
Man, Matt, can you imagine? It's been almost a full year, last December, since they've said anything about Zelda, really, or shown a trailer or anything.
Yeah.
So I really hope they've spent this last year productively, and maybe have something new to show at the VGAs this year.
Yeah, I can hope so. I mean, they kept saying over and over, like, oh, we could have showed footage at like a teaser at E3, but we'll delay it for this. And then, oh, we could have showed something like at PAX, but we're going to delay it, blah, blah, blah. It's like, just show something already. Like, all you've shown is nothing, a whole pile of nothing. And this is supposed to be, like, one of the big games we're supposed to be, like, getting excited for. Like, the last hurrah of this system. We still know nothing about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's just ridiculous. So some Nintendo rep claims that Amiibo Festival isn't going to have online. Technically, Mario Party 10 doesn't either, so I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a big deal. Crappy game's a crappy game.
Yeah, I'm going to say, it was funny because some people I saw on Go Nintendo were complaining. I'm like, did anyone want this game anyway? So it doesn't really matter if you're not going to buy it in the first place.
Yeah.
So
it's not like Triforce Heroes that actually could have been great had you had voice chat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I was kind of hoping Mike would be here to talk about this, but just to get into the Halloween kind of things, I want to pitch, what is your favorite scary game, or just the scariest game you've played?
I mean, I don't really play a lot of horror games, and by a lot I mean I barely played any horror games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the tedium, like a lot of how horror games work is they just make you vulnerable.
Yeah.
And by doing that, they oftentimes make you really slow. And I just don't like being really slow. I don't like crawling around a game at a slow speed, hunched over. So that's not something really for me. But I will say that I really like atmospheric games, which are very different than scary games, And I'd say BioShock is an excellent example of that. I really, really love BioShock. It's an atmospheric game. It's got a really good, it does really good kind of enrapturing the player. No pun intended. And for that, I really like it, even though it's not scary and it doesn't make any concessions in playability. You're so fast, you're so powerful.
Yeah, that's a good choice. I forget if it was probably the first game I would say is scarier, just because you're kind of sneaking around big daddies and you're like, oh crap, this thing better not get me, and then it'll like rush towards you, like drill your insides, like crap.
Yeah, no, I feel like it's tense, but I wouldn't call it scary.
Sure.
Oh, and the other game I want to point out, of course, is Majora's Mask, because once again, not a scary game, but creepy as all hell, and I'd say that's probably the best Halloween-related game I've played. I mean, it's for heaven's sake, it's Link dressing up in costumes, so
Cosplay Link.
yeah.
For me, I'll go back to something I said before, is Dead Space 1. So if you want to mess with like the inventory and stuff, you can't really, it doesn't pause the game, so it's doing it while you're moving around stuff, which makes you vulnerable. That kind of bugged me, but I kind of get it at the same time. It probably just bugs me because I don't have control over it. And I'm like, I want to do this my way, but you can fight back and stuff. But the necromorphs, like I was saying with Fatal Frame, the ghosts don't pose any sort of threat, but the necromorphs are clearly a threat, and not just because they're like gross-looking monsters, because you can find that in Resident Evil. But with Dead Space, like you'll have like these little creepy crawly things that are climbing up Isaac's like back and stuff, and you can see Isaac like going ballistic, because who else wouldn't go crazy when like these things are jumping all over him or stabbing him in the face or ripping off his limbs to kill him and things like that. Like the atmosphere is really creepy too. And then you can like be jumped around a corner at one point. But the one scene I thought that made it really memorable is your scene with this one boss called the Hunter. So at a point in the story, you meet this invincible necromorph, which is the enemies, and you can only temporarily slow it down. It doesn't matter if you cut off its limbs; it'll regenerate its limbs and continue to follow you. And I think this segment is like 15 minutes long, so it gets kind of crazy. But you basically have to run through all these places trying to avoid it. And there's one section where you have kind of a maze where you have to move. I don't know, I guess they're like walls or something. And you have to move them with your powers to be able to get through it. And then you have to close it behind you, because then just to give you some more time in between him. But he can still like barrel through the walls and whatnot. So you're trying to like crazily go through this maze and open doors and try to scarcely get out, and this thing's just coming up behind you like killing you, and it's just this really tense moment. Just ridiculous.
Cool. Yeah, I've never played it, so
yeah, it's cool. I'm like I said before, I'm a sissy, so I don't really play games like this with lights off or with headphones on and like in a corner or anything nuts like that, like one person said. But no, it's still a fun game. Like it's still an action game. You have a bunch of cool guns to like rip off their limbs and whatnot, so it's not like you're pissing your pants the whole time either. But I guess one or two cool things and then we'll be off. Japan is going to get a Pokemon gym, so you can train special Pokemon from the 3DS games and then put them on your 3DS, so that's kind of neat. They also have Pokemon centers there too, so I'm not surprised.
By the way, did you see the size of that building?
No.
That Pokemon gym was ginormous.
I'm gonna look it up now.
A full like warehouse size building. It was really big. I don't know if it's on Google or Pokemon Gym.
I can see part of the building. Yeah, it looks pretty. It does not look like a gym size. I'll put it that way. It looks like a theater size, like a convention center kind of thing.
It's pretty big. Yeah, exactly.
That's ridiculous. But Pokemon is also gonna. So Build-A-Bear is now gonna include Pikachu in it. I don't know why. I don't even know where the heck Build-A-Bear places are, but that's kind of neat. I just recently heard today that some developers found an old NES game they developed, and they actually finished it, but they didn't release it because I guess they forgot about it, or for some reason they couldn't release it, and whatever. For some reason they couldn't release it or forgot to, and then they just found it and they're like, yeah, let's find a way to release this thing. So I thought that was kind of neat. Like, oh look, we sat on this game for like 22 years. I guess we'll put it out now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it can actually run on an NES if you, I guess, put it on a card or something like that. But you can play it in your browser and through an emulator too. So. You're gonna say something?
No, I was just like nodding / mm-hmm-ing.
Okay. But one last weird thing was, so a couple of years ago, someone went into Nintendo's old playing card game building, just to see. I guess he figured it was an abandoned place, and he thought he'd check around and just check out the history of it, because, like, why isn't this set up as a museum? It would be really cool. And then he went in, and there was some sort of, I guess, employee there, and they were saying, like, no, we have to kick you out. You're not allowed to be in here. And it's like, that's weird. It was kind of cool because she gave him, like, a bit of a tour on the floor he was on, because he was asking questions, and she was surprised that someone was interested. So that was kind of cool. But I was surprised, like, why are there employees here in a rundown building from, like, I don't know, probably at least 50 years ago that it stopped running, or over 100. I don't remember when it finished. But someone on the comments section, when I posted this, was like, no, that's like the burial ground of the original Yamauchi guy who started Nintendo. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like,
Oh.
he was saying some other stuff like no, it's like Voltron where they buried him in the place he worked. I'm like, this sounds like a joke, but I'm going to look this up and see if this is real. And sure enough, I found on literally findagrave.com, it shows that Fusajiro Yamauchi, the first guy who started Nintendo, was buried at the original playing card building. He's buried in, like, the basement. So I'm like, that's really weird. So the people who are there are actually, like, the caretakers.
That's interesting.
It's just so, like, I don't know. Like, I guess it makes sense that someone was buried with their company, but it's not something I've really heard all that much before.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, it's just interesting. I don't really know what else to say on it.
yeah, but the weird thing is that Japan is now releasing new Mario Hanafuda cards. So it's like, are they starting up the business there again? Like, he ain't dead until he stops making cards. But I think that about rounds it up this week. So, Eli, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Paul Salon. Same thing on MyGN, and then find my work on NintendoEnthusiast.com.
Cool. So, Mike, you can find Mike at Troyfulbuster or Gaming Night Live on YouTube. I think it's SNB Gaming 64 as well, but he changed his name. He's changed it like 4 times for crying out loud.
Yeah, this week it's different than last week.
Yeah. But you can find me at the Mango Viking on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And I also just recently wrote a review of Paper Mario 64 that you can find on my blog on IGN, also under Schmugga9. So wherever you're listening, you can find us at Just Another Castle on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, iTunes, Podomatic, and IGN. You can drop us a question there to read on the podcast, or just at justanothercastle@gmail.com, or post a Mario Maker level on Facebook and send it to us so we can play it. And if you want to be a guest, you can send me a message at Twitter at the Mango Viking. So see you next time, and leave gaming to Nintendo.